I'm warming up to Adam and Felipe. Who knew? Who knew? I'm warming up to them. Hey y'all, it's your girl Jane B. Welcome to seejanereacts, and I am reacting to Married at First Sight, episode 5, season 20. They are in Seattle, Washington. And listen, before we even get started, y'all keep hitting that subscribe button. I'm on my way to 2,000 subscribers, and you guys are the ones that are going to get me there, okay? And I'm excited about it, okay? Because I know you can do it. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like, the comment, leave a comment, share if you care, hype it up. You know, all the things you need to do to make sure we stay in touch, okay? Definitely check out my description. You'll see information about the products that I have. I have a hair care line. You'll see those products as well as some other things that may be helpful to you, okay? So thank you so much, and let's get started. They are still on their honeymoon. So Caitlin and Devin, y'all, I don't know about them. I don't know, because it seems like it is a struggle. And the thing that I have to keep in mind, that this is just 7 days at this point, about 6-7 days that they have been married. They're coming with all their isms, their schisms. They're coming with all their issues. They're coming with all their phobias, all the things. That's what I have to keep in mind when I'm making these reviews, because I'm just like, why can't you just be like this? Why can't you be like that? And I'm like, they are committing themselves in a marriage to a perfect stranger. So when they come in, they're coming in, they're bringing everything with them. So we're just going to get started. So with Caitlin and Devin, they come in from the group date, and he tells her that he feels like she's pulling away. She says she needs her time alone, and she's just not used to, being with someone all the time. She says she needs her separation time, and she does not want to feel smothered. He lets her know he doesn't want to smother her, because I really get the feeling he wants to work this out as much as possible. And so after that, they at least got up and gave each other a hug. After they gave each other the hug, they did admit that they liked each other. So that's a good sign. On to Becca, that's Mecca and Belljoie. Honey, they said they worked the room at the greetings, at the gatherings. They said they worked the room. They had on semi-matching outfits. You could tell that they both were into style and fashion, because they were like, we went in there strutting and stunting. We stunting on them hoes. No, but they were like, we were stunting and we really look good. We see Nikki and Sean, they went shopping. They were holding hands. I was like, okay, I see y'all. And then she tried on a dress. He was like, ooh, that looks good. And she was like, but I want to make sure my boob is not popping out. He's like, oh, it can pop out, but I'll make sure it won't. He's just going to keep on with the sexual innuendos. It's just in him. I think maybe that's like a security thing to him. He just doesn't know I could just be me, and someone could just love me for me without doing all the extra stuff. Men, we don't like all of that. Most women don't like all of that. Relax. But after she tried on her dress, they did give each other a kiss, and it seemed effortless. And that's what we like. We just want an effortless kiss. Like, we don't want to have to discuss everything we do 20 times. We just want to be like, if the mood is right, just go in for a little kiss. We jump over, we see Michelle and Cameron. They're at a Mayan ceremony. It looked very, spiritual, very, in touch with the ancestors, in touch with the times that they're in Mexico, and that looked really nice. Adam and Marissa, they're just together. She's rubbing his leg. He's giving innuendo. She was like, we could do that later, okay? So Sean and Nikki are at dinner, and they're discussing friendship, what it means to them. And she tells Sean that she was in a 10-year relationship, and she said at about year 5 she could see things were changing, because she started like growing, and then he felt away, the guy she was with. And basically she was just saying, I want to feel grand, but I want to feel supported. Basically, like, I don't want anybody to feel like they are less than because of where I am and what I'm doing. That's the feeling I got from it. And then Sean lets her know that in the past he feels like he's created these moments, but then he said he felt ignored. I felt bad for him when he said that. He said that his love has never really felt reciprocated. I wonder with Sean, is it that he does too much? Because I could tell he's an overachiever, and so I'm just wondering, with all the things that he does, is he just doing the most and expecting it back? Because sometimes, like when you're reading the room, sometimes it's little things. Like, not everyone needs the most grandest of expressions. Sometimes they just need something really soft and quiet to really get what he would need. But if it's in your mind that you have to do all these things, then that's what you're going to go for. He said he doesn't feel alone with Nikki. And then she said, well, I want to be here to fill in the gaps. And I thought that was very nice. So Michelle and Cameron are together. They're trying caviar and they're discussing their life. And they talked about he is still in Portland because he is, with his basketball team. And she was like, I do not like Portland. So, they talked about that for a little bit. And then they started talking about family. And she said she wanted to start a family within a year. And he was just like, oh, Lord. So he said this is what makes him want to run. And he basically let her know, listen, I want to be with my wife. I want to spend time with my wife before the thought of, jumping in and having kids. She says she is willing to work with him, but she don't want to wait until she's 45. But I don't think anyone's asking her to wait for 45 because that's 12 years. I don't think that that's what the case is. It's just that, I guess in being sensitive to look at his side and say, you know what? He has never even had a long-term relationship. So let me just slow down, back up a little bit and just show, that, maybe we could compromise and it won't have to be next year, but, at least 2 years maybe or 3 years. So y'all, now they're at the pool party where all the couples are getting together. They're having fun. They have on their swimsuits, doing their thing. And Adam has on his water socks, swimming socks. Is that a real thing? Are those actual socks for the swimming pool? If it is, I've never seen it. Y'all let me know. Felipe lets the guys know he's only been cute for 3 years. He said before then, I was not that cute. So this is my glow up. So all of this fabulousness y'all seeing, this is real recent. Child, Mecca and Devin are doing the worm. I know that's right. They said we young, we fit, and we gonna do the worm. All right. Now, while all this is going on, Belljoie looks at her man and is like, my man's so fine. Okay. He is cute. Them nails be throwing me, but we gonna get to that in a minute. So Adam and Marissa, they're doing their usual things. I'm telling you, Adam is really growing on me. He just, what I think was throwing me a little is when we first met Adam, he had a girl he had to break up with. Adam just seems like the type to me that whoever he's with, as long as he's feeling them, he gonna have a good time. And he's more go with the flow than I thought. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, babe. He's a lot more like, I like his energy. I have to tell you. Now, are they setting us up for the letdown? Because right now, the way he is, but I want to know if that girl's going to come up. I want to know if the girl he was talking to before they got started this process, is she going to come around? Because that may start some problems, but we'll see. But anyway, so now the guys are around in the pool and they're talking about, did anybody kiss yet today? I get that really is a thing. For the people who have kissed, that's probably not a big deal. But for the people who have not kissed, you know what I'm saying? These questions are important. So they say, anybody kiss yet? Nick said no. Devin said no. Now, at this time, it's just 5 of the guys. So Nick said no. Devin said no. And Philippe said, oh, yeah, we make out all the time. Okay. And then Cameron said, we have a strong physical relationship. Was he being serious? Well, one thing I will say about Cameron and Michelle that I'm really starting to like, it's kind of cute. They really seem to be moving slow, but not in a pull away kind of slow, just a natural slow. Like some of the other couples, I feel like it's more intentional, like the pushing and the pulling. With them, it just seems more, okay, we just, going a little close, and then, he go a little arm, and then when we get in the bed, it's a little cuddle, so I like their pace. I do like the pace that they're moving. Belle and Marissa is chatting, and Belle says, Marissa, I love you guys' relationship. And it is to be admired because it looks like they just flowing. It looks like they're just vibing and they're just getting along great. I mean, they babe and they got nicknames, they babe and they physical touch. And you know what's nice? I'm telling you, I will die on this hill again, that you need to be with someone who shares your love language. And I think that's one of the big things that's going on with Caitlyn and Devin. They do not share the same love language. But here we go. So Courtney and Caitlyn are talking, and Caitlyn lets Courtney know she is out of her comfort zone. She's out of her comfort zone, but she will try to be more intentional, but she is down, but she's just really not comfortable. And then Courtney's gonna complain to whoever's listening. Courtney gonna have to speak her truth. It's funny because I believe Courtney and Devin are on the same page. They both said they just want some alone time. Again, I don't understand how you are on this show, getting married to somebody, spending all this time together, and you want all of this alone time. Now, my thing is, did you let them know that when you were doing your interview process? Because I don't understand how you need all of this alone time and you're getting married to someone, and or maybe it's just a thing where they just don't know how to communicate that they need alone time. But that's something that definitely should have been discussed, because if you're getting with someone who's not like you, that's going to be a problem. And clearly we can see that it is. You know, the guys are talking and Devin is like, I just want to be a provider. I want to be a protector. And she keeps pushing me away. And he was like, she just wants to miss him. I think they're bringing old relationship trauma into their new relationships, because of course we don't see everything, but I don't see anything that Devin is doing that is so egregious in terms of like, you know, being all over her or anything like that. But I guess I don't understand like where she's coming from. But we see later on how she talks about even giving someone eye contact is a lot for her. So we definitely know that there's some underlying things going on. Courtney said that Nick tried to cuddle with her and she was like, oh God, she's basically ready to throw up because she wasn't ready. Courtney is an overthinker. Courtney overthinks everything. Like she overthinks because she's not sure about herself. So she overthinks everything. So that's why, you know, being cuddled, because the way I'm feeling is that Courtney is not used to be the one receiving the love, the affection, the attention. She likes to be the one giving it, right? So she has to know exactly like what the parameters are. What do I need to do? How do I go about this? As opposed to going with the flow. And because they're not having conversations, you know, that's why it feels really weird when he's just trying to cuddle with you. You know what I mean? Because I don't believe it's always about, because I don't know them. I don't believe that all the time, because when the energy is there, when the vibe is there, when the connection is there, it just happens. It may not be overt. It may not be all out, but it will just naturally happen. But when you're overthinking it, that is like the surefire roadblock. Nick and Mecca are talking, and Nick tells Mecca he just doesn't know if they're in a friendship level. Like, are we in the friend zone? He said he just wants her to talk to him. Just talk to me. You know, communication is the killer to most relationships. Most relationships fail because the communication is horrible, okay? And again, they're new, so I'm not going to get on them too much. I'm not going to give them too much. But that's what it is. Like, just talk to me. But we know they get together a little later. We're going to talk about that a little later, how, you know, they may have had a breakthrough. Nick said he wanted to course correct because he does feel like he needs to do more initiating. So at least he is taking accountability and know that it could be him. Then Mecca tells Nick, he said, you know, basically, you know, I just lay back. I let Becca take the lead, but it may be him. You think? Nobody wants to take the lead. Women don't want to take the lead. But even if they act like they want to take the lead, deep in their heart of hearts, they don't want to take the lead. But basically, he said, you know, things are going okay, and he's trying not to be in the friend zone, you know, too much. But he does say that they, you know, he feels like he's hanging with his best friend. Now, I don't know what that means exactly in his mind. Does that mean like you're like my homegirl, or you're someone that I really like and I love you too, or I really like you, or I'm attracted to you as well? So he said to make sure they don't stay in the friend zone, you know, he started doing some things, you know, like slapping her booty. And, you know, pretty much she gave him the green light, but he does not, you know, want to seem too thirsty. I guess it's that classic, you know, men don't want to feel rejected either. So she's giving him the green light. He don't want to be too thirsty. But then he said something a little later that really made me question him. I'm going to let y'all know in a minute. Adam already getting the guys into pickleball. Y'all can play pickleball, because I bet you $1,000 y'all can't beat me, okay? So he already letting the dominance show, like, this is what I'm amazing at, and then we're going to race jet skis. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that. Because, you know, you could just tell, like, anything that I'm amazing at, I'm going to be the most amazing at, okay? And the guys are like, okay, I could have played when I was like 2, but let's go. Now Courtney's complaining to Tori. She is complaining to everybody she talks to. And the problem is, girl, talk to him. You're letting everybody know what's going on, why you feel the way you feel. You need to talk to him. So now Courtney and Nick finally are getting together. They on a boat ride, and they're talking, and they are really having a great conversation. They're talking about when Courtney and Nick were together. Nick told Courtney that he relates to Mecca the most. And he basically was letting him know like where their relationships were similar, because he doesn't know where the relationship is going romantically. You know, so they both were like in that same place. They both seemed like they were unsure. Nick and Mecca. They seemed like they just wasn't sure, and that's what he was relaying to Courtney. And then Courtney let Nick know, you know, she's a slow burn. She talks about she likes being goofy. That's what she's interested in being. She says she is used to putting other people's needs before hers. And see, that's already an issue, that you have to learn to figure out what you want and what makes you happy. Because if you're just making everybody happy, that definitely has people pleaser tendencies. And then you're not going to get the best, because when you get the best, then you can give your best. And then Nick tells her he is goofy. He actually has a goofy side. He just was suppressing it. Because, you know, sometimes you go into these situations and you don't know how to really be your real self. And he said that's what he was doing. He was suppressing who he really was. He also shares with her, you know, because she did ask him about the reality. And he said, you know, at this point, I've been single for 3 years, and this is really what I want. And I did it this way. He said, but truthfully, I would love to do this without cameras. He let her know that he likes her a lot. And he knows that, you know, one of the reasons why he couldn't be like goofy in himself is because they jumped right into a marriage. So it wasn't like they were together, they had the lead up, and then he could be himself, and then he could show his goofy side. No, so it's like you go in almost kind of like, okay, how do I act? What do I do? And so because of that, you know, he's restricting himself. He's not really, you know, showing his true self. With that conversation, they both felt like they got a release. You know what I mean? Because it's like, whew, okay, we could, you know, let the air out of the balloon a little bit and really talk about like who I really am. Because right now I haven't really been who I am, because I'm a little scared, you're a little scared, but they both felt like they got a breakthrough, and that was great. Michelle and Cam are talking, and she's letting him know she feels really close to him. And he said that sometimes he feels like change is hard. He said change is hard for him, and sometimes he want to run. And then she said, now, why are you on this show? She asked him, why are you on this show if that's how you feel? He said he normally would want to run, but because he likes Michelle, he's willing to, you know, stick around a while, because he really likes her. And you could tell he likes her too, because even as the episode was going on, you could see him getting warmer and warmer with her. Sean and Nikki, their relationship seemed like it's just going to circle around the intimacy question. I think that Sean has a lot of anxiety when it comes to intimacy, because that's why he talks about it so much. So he asked Nikki, and I'm looking down at my notes, y'all. He asked her, how are you feeling about our intimacy, where we are? And she said she likes where we are. She said she likes the pace that we're going now, because remember, she made sure they slowed it all the way down. Sean asked Nikki if she has any other needs that he could be helpful with, you know, because he would like to provide that for her. And then he said that he had needs as well. And his needs are all physical touch. You know, he wants his head rubbed. He wants his back rubbed. He wants little touches. He wants little kisses. When he was talking, it just sounds so robotic to me. It sounded so like things that you would do when you naturally are inclined to do that. And she told him that. She said, those are things I would do when I'm naturally inclined to do it. Because just to be like, if that's not naturally who you are, if you're not attracted like that, it's gonna be weird. Like, let me touch your head, let me touch your shoulder, let me touch your back. It's not gonna seem real. And that's what she pretty much let him know. Pretty much he said, I want you to initiate. And y'all, at this point, her face looked like, it was like, ugh. Like, listen, Nikki, we have already decided you cannot hide the feelings on your face. Your face tells it all. Because she was just like, when he said, I just want you to initiate, she don't want to initiate. Sean, she don't want to initiate. You know, Sean is the perfect example of when needs and wants override logic. When you can want something so bad that you just go right past logic. This lady ain't even into it. And then he's taking those little kisses. Sean strikes me as the type, he's gonna read into everything. So she gives him a kiss. She gives him a little peck. And in his mind, she wants me. She wants to tear me up. And she's like, no, I'm just like in the moment. Like, just be in the moments. In the moments. So that one little kiss, and you may get a little, but that don't mean you in love and want to rip his clothes off and have sex. That's not what that means. She told him she wants that stuff to happen naturally, and she said she would need to feel a spark for that to be released. And then that's when the light bulb came off a little bit. And he said, oh, you're not attracted to me. And pretty much, yeah, she's not attracted to him. And he finally now is getting the message. He's getting the point. She's not attracted to me. And that's where they are. Well, he said, well, listen, we doing all this kissing and carrying on, allegedly all this kissing, probably a peck here and a peck there. He was just like, I don't want to be misled. And then he had the nerves go into his ITM and say, please, she like me. Sir, you are so delusional. He's like, she likes me. Yeah, whatever she said. I know she likes me. Really? You know she likes you? Okay. Now the lady done told you. Now when she do something and now she's screaming and totally embarrassed you, you're gonna feel a way. She's telling you, I'm not that attracted. Listen to that. But I guess the denial has to come in because that's so devastating. That has to be devastating for a man especially, but yikes. Tori and Felipe, they go on a horse ride. It seems very nice. And then that evening they had dinner. She got it looked like a dozen roses. It was very beautiful. They are so enamored. Those two, they stared deep into each other's eyes. And then after they had their conversation, they did a slow dance. And it's so very romantic. I don't know, I just get the feeling that they setting us up because they are coming across almost super perfect. And you know, they can edit things to look super perfect. And I mean, it was giving you, we're perfect. You know, kind of thing. So when Philippe and Tori were at dinner, they talked about children. She said she wanted 2 children. He said he wanted 1, so they'll have 1.5. He said that his kids must be multilingual because he speaks 3 languages. He wanted to learn 1 more. She loved that about him. She lets him know again because they're always sharing their level of appreciation. And she let him know again that she is so happy they sent them. I mean, they think that the matchmakers did a great job. They're about to send them an extra check. Like, y'all did your things with us. Becca. Belljoie is bringing Mecca breakfast in bed. What y'all think about that? I feel away, especially after he told Nick that he's laid back and she does all the work. I don't know. My flags will be going up. I really would be like, wait, what? Like, what? I mean, maybe we just didn't see, because he does cook. I mean, he caters and stuff, so hopefully he knows how to make breakfast. But, oh no, because what am I saying? They were at the hotel. So she brought him breakfast in bed. I was like, I hope he brought her breakfast and we just didn't see it. He told her that he likes being around her. So he asked her, who do you think is more attractive? And she was just like, well, I'm not sure. That's, what an interesting question. And he says to her, y'all, he said, you're more attracted to me than I am to you. Did you hear the record scratch? Who says that? Who says that? Who says that? Logic, son, that's who says it. Anyway, he said, you are more attracted to me. He said, she was like, well, give me a percentage. He said, like 150 to 80. What? And then why 150? That's killing me too. Why not 100? 150 to 80 as he's sitting there drinking the tea with his painted nails. She was like, what? And she was very disappointed, honey. She got in that ITM and she was like, oh no, I like him, but I will be pulling back because I'm not chasing no man. I know that's right. But see, this is how that's gonna backfire on him. I don't know if you're trying to be cute, Mecca, or why you decided that you felt the need to tell her that. But when she pulled back, now your feelings gonna get hurt. But see, she knows what time it is. She knows what time it is. She said, oh, is this what we think is going on? I'm liking you. I'm thinking we're having a good time. We kissing, we kikiing, we canoodling. And, oh, really? Watch me fall back. Watch this. Now, when you start feeling insecure and you're going to feel away, you know why? Because remember, I was at 150. How about I dropped down to 50? How about that? How about that? Then he said, oh, no, more like 80, 60. What? Where did he get advice from? But that's what he said. So now they go to this water park. Looks like so much fun. It was Marissa and Adam, and it was Caitlin and Devin. They were having a good time. And Devin is just looking at Marissa and Adam like, I want that. They just vibing. I really want that. Devin is over here craving for a hug. Devin just wants Caitlyn to be like, oh, babe, you look good today. You smell good. Yes. And he strikes me as a type that if you just give him a little bit, he'd be okay. And she just playing hard to get. And you know what? I want Devin to start pulling back. I'm going to need him to start pulling back because she's doing too much. And she's going to start to hurt his feelings. And don't let your hurt feelings be hurt. Fall back a little bit and then let her come to you. Like I said that before. Fall back a little bit, let her start coming to you. Because the more you come after her, the more she's going to pull away. You know, that's how life is. And then once you chill, the people be like, oh, like, wait, what happened? Because low key, you really be liking all that attention, but you got to act like you don't. That's what she's doing. So let's talk about Adam shady behind. So he and Marissa are at dinner. And that steak looked good. They were eating steak. It was very romantic. Adam gossiping. He was like, so who you think ain't gonna make it? Who you think? And she was like, I don't know. Because see, she being coy. She said, I know we being recorded. I don't want them to see this later and know I was talking about them. She was like, I don't know. Well, who do you think? And he was like, I think Caitlyn and Devin are cooked. They're done. So he's probably already seeing the tension. Now, keep in mind, we saw a bit of the tension. You could only imagine the tension that they saw, because I'm sure at some point Devin went over to Adam and was like, oh, I would love a hug. I would love a kiss. And he's like, I'm not getting it. So he's like, I think they are cooked, flambéed, fried, done. And then Adam was like, what do you think we fight over? And Marissa was like, you loving them jet skis more than you like me? Adam is into his toys. Adam is into his toys, his good time, his house on the lake, that jet ski, his money, his women. Let's keep it real. Because, you know, he's very romantic. Like, you know, very, you know. So that's what he's into. So now Courtney and Nick are vibing more. Nick feels like they're becoming more compatible. And that's a good thing. Listen, it's all about growth. And so we like that, Nick. Now the honeymoon week is over. They're getting ready to get back into the real world. So now the couples are packing and they're ready to go. So now Michelle and Cam are packing. They just seem like they have a nice vibe. I like them because they seem steady as you go. They're not too hot and heavy and they're not too cold. They're right in the middle. I like that about Michelle and Cam. So now we got Kate and Devin. And they're talking about, you know, they're packing, but you can see it's just cold and frigid. And then, you know, she gets the camera, I guess the phone or whatever, and she's talking to it. And she just said, I just feel like I'm not meeting his needs. And she really feels bad about that. And then she said, you know, I can't wait till we talk to Dr. Lisa. Because he said, you know, she's feeling away. And then he came out and he was like, he feels very rejected. So that made me feel bad. And, you know, that's where the episode ended. So we ended like on a wah-wah note. Because I really do see something there. He's ready to risk it all. I'm really hoping that they are able to, you know, bring it around. I really do. So y'all, that's what I got for episode 5. So definitely, if you made it this far, leave an orange heart in the comments. I love that. Definitely don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know, turn on your notifications. Check out my description so you can see all my products and things that I have going on over there in my Patreon. And I appreciate you being with me as we dish about Married at First Sight. Okay, so guys, again, I appreciate you so much. And until the next time, peace.